here in the garage. Got a couple extra days off, and it's time to change things up a little bit. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you've probably heard me talk a couple times about how I'm into the retro look of these Foxbodies. I grew up with them in the late 80s and early 90s. I've got the Mach 1 style hood. I've got to have the louvers. Got the halo headdress, you know, the things that remind me of when I was young and really loved these cars for the first time. And along that same line, I've been wanting to make a certain change for quite a while now. I just haven't got around to doing it. And if you kind of figure out what I'm talking about, it is time to go back to the OG cheese graters. I was able to get an unpainted set that had never been installed. Even came with housings. Got them down here. Got all $75. The pair of cheese graters and housings to go with them. None of the mounting screws on the back are broken off. They've got all of those. The seals are in really bad shape, so I've ordered a new set of seals before I put them in. These have been painted. They've not been primered yet, so I'm going to be doing that this weekend. Humidity is like 90% today, so I don't think I'll be doing it today, but it'll be my first time trying this two-part clear. Never used it before, seen plenty of people talk about it and use it, and that it's really good stuff to hold up to the sun, and I thought I'm going to give it a try. And so I've got that to do probably, I don't know, either tomorrow or the next day. I'll keep an eye on the weather. I'm going to start tearing apart the back side of this and get these out. I've been really happy with these. These are your like 85, 86 tail lights, but I have put some window tint on them and the red pinstripes, so it's kind of like a Cobra style, but kind of different. And Maker's Garage actually sells a kit of the film and the applicator and the pinstripe if you guys want to check them out. I did not buy Jason's kit on this because his tint was darker than what I thought I wanted, so I ordered some window tint off of Amazon that was a little lighter. Had I have it to do all over again, I think I would have used the darker tint and probably gone with his kit, but lessons learned, right? Well, we're going to start out by loosening up some of the screws on the back quarters. We're going to remove all the screws from the very rear trim. Pull back the carpet here and the padding underneath, and then we'll get these out. All right, so I moved all the spare tire well stuff out of the way. All right, so in total, you've got 2 screws on the top. You're gonna have 2 screws kind of on the sides, one on each side. You're gonna have 3 little self-tapping screws and 3 tabs on the bottom. And you may need to loosen or remove a couple of these on the rear quarter to get this to come out. Now that they're all out, this will just pull right off. And then the next piece should come right out also. And now we'll unhook the bulbs from the tail lights. So you can see I've got some stuff wired in here. It's because I got LEDs. Got a couple more. Just twist out. Actually, one was hiding from me. There's four connections on each side. So let's get this one twisted out also. 87 and up. You may have a different size. These housings are obviously older from the 80. I think these are 85s that were on the car. But they have a 7/16 nut. There's going to be 6 of them to remove, and I'm going to zip those off real quick, and we'll get back to you. And on a couple of these, you're going to have a harness that has a clip on it that pushes over your studs here from your tail light housing. So you just pull on this to come off. And once you get those out, this should come right out. And while we're at it, let's wipe everything down and give ourselves a nice clean surface to work with. Well, it's been 2 days since I left off with this video, and had to place an order LMR for a few parts here. The gaskets or the seals that were on that other set of taillight housings, they were falling apart. They were really in bad shape. So I've got a new set of these for the back of the housings, and then I picked up a new set of the nuts that will tighten them down. Over here, putting a fresh coat of SEM trim black on the parts of the housing that'll show when the trunks hatch is open. So I've got 2 coats on there already, letting it dry, and I'll get everything masking peeled off here in a little bit, and we'll see how they turned out. Hey, back again. So it's another day since my last piece of this update. I'm still waiting for the humidity to come down before I can paint these tail light covers. And I've got one on the bottom there covered with some towels, and the other one stacked on top of that so I don't scratch anything. It's just a matter of waiting now. I'm not gonna put this clear on until my humidity levels get down. Hopefully under 40% would be nice. Right now, the last 3 days in the 70s or high 60s. So it's just hot, humid, and nasty, and I'm not gonna risk ruining the clear on these, so I'll just wait another day. All right, we're gonna work on these housings a little more. You can see I've got all the paint done, and I think that came out really good. Good old SEM trim black. I've got my new foam kit here for the seals that go around the light bulb sockets. This odd shaped one that has a little bit of a notch. You can see in it, that is going to be side specific. This one, that notch, you're going to line up where the little side marker bulb goes, is where that notch is going to fit when you go and put it over the housing here. And I noticed as I was cleaning these up, there's some adhesive on the inside and outside around each one of these areas where the foam seals go. So it's kind of hard to tell what it was back in the day. I don't think it was butyl, but some type of adhesive. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take just a little bit of weather stripping sealant that I've got left over from my T-top install, and I'm gonna put it around each one of these before I go and put these on, and help keep them in place. So I'll be right back. All right, you can see there I've got just a little bit of bead around the inside and outside edges of that plastic, and we'll push these seals down and see if we can keep them in place. All right, that one was easy enough. I'm just kind of pushing on the sides. Once I get it down all the way, they don't go down real far, and just squishing in the sides to that adhesive. And remember this guy here, we're going to take that little notch and we're going to get it started first. Okay, that looks pretty good. That stuff's pretty sticky. I think it's gonna hold it in place. So I'm just gonna let it sit up and go on to the next one. And something else you want to remember is put a little bit of butyl around the bolt hole. You can see there's what looks like butyl to me on these old housings. So I'm gonna do the same thing there, and when they tighten down, you'll get a water seal from these, and then also a water seal from that butyl on the outside of the car where these bolts go through. Well, here's a little comparison to the cheese graters versus kind of the modified 85 style. So I'll be honest, I'm kind of changing my mind a little bit. I guess I've become attached to the bottom set, even though the cheese graters was always what was the coolest thing to have back in the day, and were by far the best of all of the different options that came on those cars. I'm still putting them on, don't get me wrong, but I'm probably going to have to hold on to the others in case I want to swap them out from time to time. Let me know, what's everybody think? And the day has finally come, day 5, and the last day of vacation is finally when the humidity's come down and the temperature's cooled off, and it's time to clear coat these taillights. I've wiped them down with some prep cleaner. I'm gonna take a tack cloth one last time once I get everything ready to spray, and we'll get 2 or 3 coats on and go from there. Well, we've got 3 coats on here, a light coat, couple heavy coats. I'm gonna move them over to some better light and we'll see how everything looks. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. You can see I made sure I covered up the car before I started doing any spraying, just to be safe. Now here's the other one. I am noticing, trying to show it in the light here, I've got a couple runs right there. All right, I repositioned it. You can see I got a run there. I've got a run here. And maybe a little bit of one right there. So that really sucks. I'm definitely not a paint guy. I think I will try to sand those down though. Obviously I'm gonna let it cure up before I touch it at all, but that's just not gonna work for me. More to come. I'll get a block and sand that down. That's all for today. We'll let these things cure up for a couple days and then get back to it. But all in all, I'm really excited with how it turned out. Well, it's the next day. One of these covers turned out really good. The other one has a couple runs I'm gonna have to work on after it cures up a little. I'm amazed at how well these have fit on. You can see there's no gap here. There's a little bit of a gap, which is very normal. And then as we come around, that's sitting really good. And on the bottom, or you can't really tell anything on the bottom, on the other side here, a little bit of a gap there, but again, it's touching up at the top. So for 1980s molding, I think that's pretty good. And there's butyl all the way around, so it's definitely sealed up, and those metal clips as well. Loosely installed. I've got all the nuts started. As much as you're gonna wanna go quick and use a tool to run them down, that's how you crack the studs right out of these housings. So do it by hand, snug them down a little bit at a time, the top ones and the bottom ones, so that they don't get a weird angle or cant to them. And I'm gonna do that and be right back. And there's a comparison between the old style on the left and the newly painted cheese graters on the right. All right, I got some 3000 grit, and I'm gonna fold that up. I've got this little film applicator to make a straight edge. So I'll just tuck that inside there. Put a little water on this, and we'll try to get these runs out of here. All right, so I taped it off. There's a mold seam right where my tape line is. I thought that was a great place to tape it off, and it's right on a seam anyway. So I have put 2 more coats of clear on this after I sanded it down a little bit at a time with that 3000 grit. I got rid of most of those runs. You got to look really hard now to see them, and I decided to stop while I was ahead and not burn all the way down through the paint and really have a mess. So I'm pretty happy with this, and now my runs are not as prevalent as just the lines in the plastic. So not too bad. I'm gonna get all this tore off, let it set up for a while, and then we'll get it installed. Now, as we're getting ready to put these lenses in the housings, make sure your clips are pushed all the way down on the plastic tabs there, but also make sure those metal legs are sticking out as far as they can, almost straight out, before you go to insert them. That'll give the most pressure up against the lenses when you push them in. If they're angled down too far before you get started, there's not going to be near as much locking pressure on those tangs to the metal, to the plastic, and it'll want to pop out. And I'm going to take the heat gun and lightly go around all the butyl to get it warmed up. I don't need it boiling, just to get it softened up a little bit for when I get ready to put these lenses on the housings here. And looks like this one's got a pretty good fit as well. A little bit of a gap there after it's all the way pushed in. That's pretty normal. On the sides here, fitting together real well also. And it's ready to install. Okay, we got all the screws in. Got the light plugged back in. Also put in a brand new switch while I was at it. One of the latches on that snaps it into this bracket was broken, so sometimes it would get twisted or out of place. Looks like it's working pretty good. And got the 3 little sheet screws on these tabs down here. And she is all buttoned back up and ready to come outside and take a look at the cheese. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a fun project, and definitely happy with the result. Plan on keeping these on for a while for sure, but you never know. It's always good to have options, and I've got another set that gives it a completely different look, and maybe I'll change them from time to time. But appreciate you watching, and wait for the next one.